Welcome, everybody, one and all, every single person, all of you who are here, everyone who's listening, and everyone else. Welcome to Mole Music. I am Mole Ben.
I am Mole Jessica.
I am Mole Hugo.
We are three underground musicians living in the darkness, in the dirt, with the worms, trying to find our way to the light. Trying to make it out of the underground into the overground so we can finally be happy once we are as big as Sabrina Carpenter and Daddy Plumber and Donald Electrician. Today we're going to talk about some stuff that is different than what I'm about to talk about. But first I wanted to say what happened the other day. The other day I was like, I need gigs. I need work. And so I went on Instagram and I posted in my story, I was like, if you have a Ben-shaped hole in your business, I'm Ben. And then I went on to be like, I make music videos, I make teaching, I'll design your curriculum for your school. I do all sorts of things. I'll play guitar on your things. And, I was just thinking it'd be interesting to talk about what happened as a result of that, because that's actually the second time I've done that. The first time was about a year ago. Almost exactly a year ago. It's weird. But yeah, the last time I went to Instagram for this sort of thing was about a year ago, and I was contacted after doing that by a person to work with them. As to work for them and get a regular salary. Did not work out. But interesting that posting that on Instagram could lead to such a opportunity. And from that post, I also got a music video commission. This is the last year's post. And I ended up getting a bunch of people just being like, I got work for you, but then it didn't all actually end up happening, but still, it was like, okay, the pulse is starting to come back and there's some life in this career. So then I did it recently again to get more blood, baby. And this time I heard from a friend from way back in school, and he was telling me about some stuff with how Fortnite, there's a whole economy built on Fortnite and they need music, and telling me this stuff. I just felt a little bit out of my depth to try to do research myself, but it was just an interesting thing. And then somebody was like, I need to do a music video, and that came out of it. And then I don't really even remember why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, but we were just talking about it a second ago before we started. I was like, oh, there's something I want to tell you. Yes, Jessica's on the right track. So then what happened was there's this artist that we're friends with that that wanted to give me a gig and was like, here, maybe I'll pay you to do this. What's it going to cost to do this? And I was like, oh, that kind of thing. Geez. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait a second, I should just work with this person and make a thing with them and not just be paid out of pity. And so there's going to be a project from that that's not the most relevant thing to our listeners right now, but I thought what would be interesting is just the fact that how often do you get to hear what's on the other side of a post like that? Because here's the thing, I've got about 50,000 followers on Instagram, and last year when I posted that, I must have had 34,000 or something. So a lot of people came in since then. And I've had a lot of people come in recently from my caretaking videos. And so the thought is hey, if I got all these followers, I never asked them for anything. What happens if I do?
Yeah.
And the answer is some things. It's not oh yeah, problem solved, everything's coming in now, because most things don't work out. But the answer is some things happen. So maybe it's overstated how much followers can having a large follower count can affect you financially. Maybe that's a bit overstated, but it's not nothing. And I just think that's an interesting thing to know. You might wonder, like, oh, that person's got the ability to have lots of people see what they do. How does that translate into work opportunities? And yeah, it's like it's a little bit of a mild sizzle, but not a rolling boil. And I just wanted to mention that because it's relevant to the podcast. So
Yeah, definitely.
whoa, your sound. Jessica said something. It was so quiet. Oh no. But yeah.
That's a crackly cable.
It's the cable. It's this cable. Oh. If we don't hear Jessica, we won't hear her at all. Oh no.
That's not good.
We need to change the way this is.
We need to hear Jessica.
Oh no. Hello, I'm Jessica. Hey. Free. I like that. I like things for free. Free.
Free?
I hear her.
Free.
Do you hear her?
I hear her here. Yes.
Free? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Nice.
So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I feel like I think there's an assumption based on how much you do that you're too busy to do lessons, projects, collaborations. You're too busy to do these kinds of things. And yeah, I think it's really confusing knowing that no, you
I'm not
need
busy too much for things.
not too much for things.
Maybe too busy to go to the baseball game all the way in Boston, Fenway Park on a random Tuesday.
Yeah, and
Sure.
I feel that same. I'm like not too busy to be asked to make something for money.
We all like that.
I'll figure that out, So yeah, I think
It makes sense though that
Also-
people would have that impression from a large follow number, even if those were dead accounts or whatever. People wouldn't know. It's still a large number, and it's like, oh, they've got stuff to do. They're busy.
exactly.
It's a shower that shrinks, and so the old saying with erections that it's a grower shower thing. It's a grower, not a shower, right? When it doesn't look very big, but it gets big later, right? Well, big number is more like a grower, is a shower that ungrows.
It's a shrinker.
Yeah, it goes and hides under a rock. That's what my number is.
I mean, there's also a lot of messing around with the algorithms that YouTube, Instagram, everybody's doing, where a lot of your stuff doesn't get to the people that you mean it to get to, and that makes it shrink more, I feel.
Guess what?
What?
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
people respond more to my visual art than my music. YouTube main channel, they care more about the guitar or playing music thing. So that's something that I've become aware of recently.
Yeah.
And it's interesting also, how if I've just started posting some guitar related shorts to my main channel, and it's interesting how wide the variety of results for viewership are on those. But something, I couldn't even finish that sentence because I got so bored from it. Can I change the subject to something more interesting now that I've talked?
Yes.
All right, here, let me talk. I've been eating 10 chocolate chips every day. Now,
10.
this is more interesting. I don't think I've told you about this yet, Hugo. Have
Chocolate chips, though, is it just chocolate broken into chips or what?
Pretty much. It's like, you know what Hershey Kisses are?
Not really. No.
They have those.
No.
This is so cool about the Netherlands that you don't have Hershey Kisses. Well, you know a chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah.
So you know about the size of the chocolate in one of those?
Sure,
They're
yeah.
like the little chips, like you said.
They're drops,
Okay,
basically.
yeah.
They're like
okay.
little drops.
So those are the chocolate chips.
Yes, I
They're-
have them dark chocolate.
They're poo shaped.
They are like poo emoji.
Emoji shape.
Realistically, poo can be so many ways.
Oh my god.
Don't get me started. But yeah, this is chocolate chips. And what I've been doing is in the morning, I wake up at 8 and I spend an hour playing and singing to a drone. And then I eat 10 chocolate chips and a piece of toast and a lot of water. And then I start writing for 2 hours straight on my modes course. And then I take a break. And then I do 2 more hours of something else before I walk my dog and stuff.
Damn, that's an intense
new.
morning. Is that your
Yeah.
updated
It's new.
morning routine?
Yes, chocolate
So
chips.
what
And
do
the
we have to
drone
do
in the
now
morning.
except for chocolate chips? Just
Oh,
work.
you want to
Dude,
try it?
we,
You wanna
Yeah.
try this?
we tried Ben
Okay.
Levin's morning routine 2.0.
Yeah, Ben Morning. So this is, all right, updated Ben Morning. So the original Ben Morning was
Just started.
you wake up, and as soon as you wake up, you sit yourself down at the thing that you want to work on, like if it's your art, your music and stuff.
Yeah.
You just sit down and start immediately. And like I said back then, and I say it still today, this is for those times where things are going right. This is not like a dig yourself out of a hole type of routine. This is for when you're feeling strong. It's not a self-care centered approach, but it is very creatively effective. I find that waking up, letting your sleepy, dreamy brain warm up through the process of making something for, like in Hugo's case for his new album, in Jessica's case for her videos that she's working on. That is a good thing to do Ben Morning. It's not good to go wake up Ben Morning and then start looking at analytics for your company's profits or like working on your taxes or something like that. I think that would mess up your whole day. But it's very nice for creative tasks that you're interested in. Okay, so that's Ben Morning 1.0. We all tried it. We've all done it. We've had good results. We've had bad results. It sort of depends how you're doing. But what about when you're in the dumps? What about when your mouth and your butt both taste the same?
Yeah.
Then what you got to do is, well, you don't have to do this, but this is what I'm doing. You wake up and then you spend an hour, 30 minutes with the drone playing guitar or whatever instrument, and then 30 minutes singing. Been using Sargam, the Indian solfege, melodically. So we've got the drone. I'm like, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa, and you do it slow, like sa, and your voice is all tired and it's not warmed up. You drink water while you're doing this, and you get after half an hour playing the instrument, you're like half an hour singing, you're like ha 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 ha, and you start feeling like a real person, and it's not bad at all. I look out the window, I see all the little kids going to school. I'm like, okay, I live in a real neighborhood. I can see there's people out here. That like, it's not a lonely world. The sun is in my eyes. I'm singing to the drone. Then you get right into the kitchen. You go right on in there, and you take a little cup and you put 10 dark chocolate chips into that cup. And then you put the waffle in the toaster, preferably a waffle. Then you put the glass filled with water next to the cup with the 10. And then when the toaster's done, you take that thing out of the toaster, okay? Then you eat a chocolate chip, take a sip of water, nibble on the toast.
Do you put anything on the toast?
Hell no. I don't want to get tired. Here's the thing with Ben. I like talking in third person now because I read Brandon Sanderson's books.
You got to keep the energy
And-
going for your work. You can't
That's
waste
right.
it on putting something on your bread.
That's right. See, here's the thing that happens.
10x
To
your
me.
productivity.
Oh,
with Ben
well,
Levin.
it should be Ben X your productivity, because let me tell you, what happens to me is if I eat salt, I get sleepy.
Yeah.
If I eat fat, I get sleepy. If I eat sugar, I get sleepy. I get sleepy so easy, and I think it's not just me. I think it's maybe everyone, but
I
I'm
think just
hypersensitive and aware of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Eating makes
Eating
you
can make
sleepy.
you tired.
Unless you're eating like a straight up salad.
Like
a
a green bean.
Yeah. I feel like if I
One
eat
green bean.
greens, I don't get tired.
See, quantity is a big thing. You're right.
Yeah.
But if you eat a lot of beans,
Yeah.
I get tired.
Yeah, I said greens.
Oh, my God. I thought you said beans.
Nope.
It is our 15th anniversary of dating, by the way, this week. We've been together for
Congratulations.
15
Well done.
years.
Yeah.
Thanks to this
That's
podcast, I don't think
incredible.
we'll make it to another one.
Thanks a lot.
Because I
Paul
heard her
Music.
say beans. So 15 greens of dating. I agree with greens. You can't really
Yeah.
have too much. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I think we'll last another year.
Oh, she's being passive aggressive right now. People don't realize this, but that's her angry. That's her angry face. That's fake laughter. Now we're seeing the real Jessica come
Oh.
out. For all those listening on iTunes, what do you say?
In yoga today, something really interesting happened where there's one thing that you do where you fill your cheeks up with air
Uh-huh.
and then you like pretend to swish around the air until you bring all the air to one side and then you slowly move it over to the other side while you breathe out your nose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being suffocated. It's making me panic.
Keep breathing out your nose.
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
It's like Hugo's Silent Hill walkthrough. It's spooky.
It was cool. I like this yoga place I go to. They got new stuff every time and I'm like,
What was it
This
for?
rules.
What was the idea?
I think it's to stretch out your cheeks. And like, there's like a lot of stuff around like the vagus nerve. So I don't know, maybe it had something to do
What
with
about the
that.
specific nerve?
It's like the vagus nerve that goes through your spine, and that's a good one to activate because guess what? It takes you from fight or flight mode to rest and relaxation and digest mode. It's a good one, and you can activate it by humming, or going like this.
Jessica's
That's
moving her head around.
Thanks.
This makes me want to bring up grower shower again.
Does that
very
help
cool,
your
very
vagus
cool.
nerve or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Very
actually
cool.
is an extension of your vagus nerve. You know that they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
That's right. They say that all the time in the U.S. People
Yeah.
are constantly saying that.
You'll
Like
see, Hugo.
when you come here, Netherlands. When you come here, Netherlands, you will see in the United States. People are always saying that.
People,
I believe it.
grower
I've heard that a
shower.
couple times.
Yeah, we'll show you American chocolate chip.
Yes.
Do they got?
But I
have
imagine
we
they're
talked
very
about-
small, the chocolate chips. So just
They are.
10.
Yeah.
That
They're like
I
the
mean-
size
Yeah.
of your thumbnail or your index fingernail.
Yeah.
I
It's
eat 10.
accurate.
I'm very sensitive to caffeine. You know, I'm hyper aware. Listen, there's many great qualities about me, and we couldn't possibly list them all in one show. But one of the greatest qualities of me is I know my limits. I'm hyper aware of the effect of the peanut butter and the jelly, and how much peanut butter, how much jelly, how that will make me tired. You need I can have a small amount of peanut butter and I won't get tired. But if I have any jelly and if that shit's on bread, I'm going to be tired. I know things like that about myself. And I'm also aware, I am very sensitive to caffeine, and dark chocolate has just the right amount. If I have 10 chocolate chips that I feel like a normal person, but maybe slightly more driven, slightly more ready to transition from the warm-up into my actual work. And you will soon learn this about me. As you spend more time with me, you will learn that 10 chocolate chips for me is an incredible amount. But actually, it's funny because the whole thing with the chocolate chips works less and less each day. No
You
surprise.
feel it.
shit.
But the thing is, I'm
You gotta
learning
start taking
this habit.
11.
No. If you increase the chocolate chip number, that's a slippery, dippery slope. That's the kind
That's
of thing
how it
I'm gonna
goes.
end up being like
It's like a
drinking
cocaine
coffee
habit
every
or
day.
something.
The last thing I need right now is a cocaine habit. Listen, I want to denounce all drug.
All drug.
Wow. Yeah, I'm very serious. Don't use a drug.
Don't all drug.
Thank you.
Wall
Ooh.
drug. You got to know about that if you come to
Yeah,
America.
if you come to America, we'll take you there.
We'll take you to wall drug.
Wall drug.
I think it's in.
Are the walls
South
made of drug?
Dakota. You'll have to wait and see.
Okay, everybody, shh. What should we talk about?
Well, one thing we were thinking about talking about is like paying attention to the. You're making yourself giggle.
It's funny to shush everyone. Shush everyone and then be like, what do we talk about? We're all talking. Okay, I thought that was a good one.
But we were talking about
paying attention.
Paying attention
to
and
things.
what we take in on purpose, media wise.
Like what?
Like a book, like music. Are we stopping listening to a whole album with headphones and listening and not doing something else ever?
Yeah,
Is
what
that
do you-
ever happening?
Are you saying
Intentional
peop-
consumption of all drugs.
That's so you're
That
saying that we should be more intentional with the way that we experience art, and that's helpful in some way.
You could say that. I would say the endless drum roll of thumb on phone
Wow,
loses.
thumb roll of drum. You're saying we're swiping on our phone all the time,
I am.
and it loses.
It suck.
Are we in character? I have a question. What are you talking about?
Intentional consumption of media
And why are we talking about that?
because
It's a lost
it's a
art.
depressing time.
Yes.
Okay.
And we need help.
Why is it a lost art? What's your evidence?
Drum roll on phone.
Oh.
Too
You're saying we're
much.
on our phones too much and it's too much short content and we don't know how to experience long form content?
I
Like
would say
4-minute songs?
we
But
know
to be fair,
how.
okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We're discussing this topic on a podcast that is an hour long. Do people need this?
If people could sit down and watch this for an hour, they would
They
not
don't need
it.
our help.
But they turn it on. They turn it on. I'm telling you what all these dumbasses and bastards listening, you fucking scum listening to this, I know what you do. You turn it on and you do something else.
You do laundry.
You drive.
You make dinner.
You clean.
You pick your butt.
If you don't watch, look, Hugo edits and color grades every episode. If you don't watch the whole hour, you're part of the problem that we are addressing today.
How dare you not pay very close attention to the colors on Ben's shirt?
How dare you not pay in general? We don't even have a Patreon. Why didn't you do that, audience? Why haven't you started a Patreon? Start a Kickstarter of us. 1,000, please, for Mole Music.
I'll take 2.
Oh, I'll take one more then. So we both have 2.
I always want to have one more than you guys.
Yeah.
3 for Hugo, 2 for each of us.
I haven't I haven't sat down and listened to an album except for my own album in a long time.
Yeah. I listened to Lisa Belladonna's one of her most recent albums, but she releases a lot. So I'm behind. But it was a great experience.
How did you do it? Where were you?
I listened in headphones, in my little earbuds before I went to sleep.
And you stayed awake?
Yeah.
For how long?
The album, like I think this one
In
was
bed?
25 minutes. Yeah.
You stayed awake?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Good job.
Also, I listen mostly though, not so good in car, on bike, even in shower.
What's wrong with on bike? Oh, it's coming out of a little speaker.
coming out of the speaker and I'm always doing something else.
So why do you think you? Why do
I assume
you
you're
think,
driving when you say in car. You're not
Yeah.
the passenger.
No.
she drives? It's a new day. It's a new time for women in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was funnier before.
No.
Anyway, you know what will be cool?
Ouch.
I got these 2 1/8-inch to 1/4-inch cables. I'm gonna try something, but you keep yapping. I'll pretend to listen.
What
But
about
I do
you, Hugo?
I do like to listen in cars. I think but that's as a passenger. It's
Yeah.
very nice to zone out staring at whatever passes by and, listen to music and get lost in the music. So
Yeah.
I find that a very helpful environment. But I have been thinking a lot lately about how to replicate that at home because I just don't. Last time I used to was as a teenager.
Yeah.
Listen to music straight up.
No. Like, sit down and listen to records, multiple records, back to back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I imagine you listen to more music than I do. I think because you seem a little more on the pulse of like new releases, at least than I am.
Sure, but
that's my impression.
Not even that much. Like the last stuff I listened to was like all the way through was probably Brat.
Yeah, I was there, huh? No, but that's what that's why I have that impression of you. Because when I was at your house, we listened to Brat. We also listened to Shoe Shoes, or we watched their music video.
Yeah.
So I think you listen to music more because I did that with you.
Yeah, but usually it's in a distracted mode. Like I'll be on the internet browsing stuff.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool challenge. I don't know what maybe determining how many albums to listen to, until we do our next podcast, but maybe just having an intention of like doing it at least once where we listen to one album all the way through.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good homework assignment.
Like a music book club situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to listen to the same one. We can listen to whatever we want.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when people check out Netflix and all that, it's kind of like a routine, right?
Yeah.
It's like your wind down thing in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
I guess similar. Yeah. Well, I assume music consumption was the same in the past. Like maybe there was no TV.
So.
People sat down to listen to a record.
Yep. Or listen to the radio. And I also like thinking about even further back when people would listen to music by reading the sheet music. So that's like pretty cool seeming. I'm not good enough at sight reading to do that. Like
yeah.
Pop right in, but that's like
it's a cool skill.
Sounds like a cool activity. Like I'm not Netflix and chilling. I'm sight reading and chilling.
Are you hearing that?
Yes.
Really soft. It's got really high frequencies that are ouchy.
Wow. I'm trying to do a sound.
Something's not right.
I'm trying to do
there.
a soundboard for the podcast. Because I have this cable now. Well, anyway, I like that idea of listening to an album. What album do you think you would listen to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
There's definitely a few that I've been thinking about listening to, and then I'm like, I don't wanna listen to something I don't know right now. That's like a feeling I have often. I'm like, I want to sing along.
I'd listen to Chromacopia, I think.
What's that?
That's the new Tyler, the Creator record.
Oh, okay.
I listened to that one and did fall asleep, which is surprising because it's really epic.
Oof.
It was crazy dreams.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, that's an exciting new release.
What did you like about it before you fell asleep?
I mean, I like how it starts.
Okay.
It captures very specific feeling really well. Yeah, I'm not gonna, no spoilers.
I'm overdue to listen to the new Foxing album. I listened to
the
half
one I
of it.
recommended, the
new
live
Foxing.
one. Oh,
Yeah.
there's
one with-
Foxing. I was thinking Fleet Foxes. I've been listening
Oh, I
to.
did listen to
Yeah, to
the
the live-
beginning of it. like when I was driving. See, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Jessica shows me a really cool album. I
Yep.
definitely want to listen to it. I listen to like 4 songs while I'm in the car, forget about it forever. Then a million new albums appear, and
Yeah.
I forget about those. And I haven't even listened to the new Foxing album all the way through yet. And I only remembered that I didn't because yesterday when I was streaming, somebody told me, "Did you listen to it?" And then I realized that I hadn't. And I realized that I had, but I just stopped doing it. I needed to listen to all of it. What the heck? And
Yeah.
I like that band, and I listened to their previous album 1,000,000, and I listened to the album before that 2,000,000 times.
Yeah.
But this one, I listened to half. I'm like, yep, it's really good. I don't need to know anymore because I heard it's definitely good. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, same.
Ugh.
I think I had almost exactly the same. Like I listened through most of it and was like, "Yep, this is really good," and then did not listen to it again.
See, this is
Yeah.
the problem. I want everyone to make as much music as possible, but then when we've got 1,000,000 albums at us all the time, we don't listen to anything. This is the problem with the way that we are. And I think that if I was me, I am me. I don't know what to do.
I
Yeah,
do wonder though
I-
if we don't technically, like if you stop your Spotify account or your Apple Music account or Tidal or whatever, and you just tell
Yeah.
yourself, what if I go back to buying records? I'll just buy 1 record a month. And that's what I listen to, plus the ones I already own.
Yeah, I mean, I'd listen to more music if I did that.
Probably.
I think I would know the new music better, but it'd be so hard to pick because I have so many albums in that cycle of I've listened to it maybe not all the way through, or I'd like to listen to it, and
I bet you'd pay more
I'm like,
attention though. Because
I
when you
think I
have to pick,
would.
you're probably going to try out a couple songs on YouTube and then,
oh, true. Do a little research.
yeah.
Oh, say that again.
Do a little research.
Do a little research.
One album that I'm really blown away by is the band Byland. I think I talked about them last time maybe, but they're so good, and I played with them with my friend Morgan and her band Morgan Lane and the Passengers, and we jumped on a bill with them, and they're from Washington State and they rule. And this album Heavy for a While is extra amazing and poignant, and then I feel like it takes on even another helpful form in the new state of America. Heavy for a While by Byland, Byland. Go.
Yeah, so we all like music and we don't listen to it. So what do we expect the people who are just like who don't like music as much but like music? How are we supposed to feel as people who make music all the time? How are we supposed to feel about this? Like if we are not listening to it that much, then who's listening to it that much?
I don't know.
I guess a lot of it is just through
She don't
playlists,
know.
though, right? Like you'll,
Yeah,
just like
singles.
the podcast. Like you'll pop it,
Podcast.
the podcast. You'll pop it on. You'll podcast it on. While
I listen
doing
to
other
the
stuff.
podcast more easily than music because the talking, it's easier to follow. Or like it, I don't know. Let's put it this way: if I need to turn my brain off because I feel like shit and I don't like the thoughts that are in my head, listening to a podcast gets the thoughts to go away. But listening to music reframes the thoughts. So I think that there's maybe a more long-term benefit to the music listening process where it's like I'm thinking about the thoughts while I'm listening to music and it's making me feel the thoughts a little differently. It's probably a long-term benefit, but it's more like an active process. It's not truly turning off. Whereas you turn on the podcast, I listened to Brandon Sanderson talk about how he liked the Cats movie. You know, I liked the Cats movie back in 2019 and was obsessed with it back then, and we would talk about it all the time, but I have no real like craving to get back into talking about why I like the Cats movie now. Yet I will sit yesterday outside and listen to Brandon Sanderson talking for 40 minutes about the same things that I already know and thought about that movie. You know something? That's weird. I think you're good.
Yeah.
That's the audio. Yeah, so it's just an interesting thing how the podcast will alleviate you short term probably of the feelings, but the music maybe has a some long-term benefits possibly.
So you see it more as a
I-
distraction then.
Yeah, the podcast is a distraction. The music is not.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like the Apple iTunes visualizer helped me listen to more music.
Same.
And I'm like, where'd it go? Can we bring it back? Can we bring it back better? Can we put it on all the streaming things so we can really get just deep with the music? Can we get some scientists involved so it actually is like going deeper into our brains or something, like some giving us some like subconscious like messaging like for ads?
It's so funny you say that. It's bringing me down memory lane because you're right. Sitting and watching the iTunes visualizer was a very effective way back in 2009
Yeah.
to deal with the same problem we have now.
Yeah.
But it worked back then, and that's why people are making their own visualizers for their music, and it's just like a thing to like let your brain do it. It's almost like you're giving people a space to listen to the music more than you're giving them music video. You're giving them a space in which it's possible for them to experience the music.
Well, you know how
I used to play
on YouTube they
Right.
do these like 12-hour long videos of, you know, like scenery or something.
trains and stuff.
Yeah, for example. Like
Yeah.
that could be cool. Pop that on while listening to album. Maybe it's kind of
It's a
the
good
same
idea.
effect as looking out the window while in a car or something.
When we record
it's
at Big Nice
needed.
Studio, they often have a long video of going first person on a train. So you see like the train going through America.
And also like skateboard competitions and
Compilations of
compilations
skateboarding.
of tricks. I like that stuff. I like the fireplace one because looking at fire is so captivating.
Yeah, it's so hard to get to that place of like playing music by a fire with people. That seems like it used to happen more.
Yeah.
This world is not dying. It's not. It's just taking a nap. I just feel like everybody's going to come back to some of the... It's not even like old. It's ancient things that matter. Like, we're going to just be unplugging so much more. I think we're going to hit this threshold. And I don't think it's just going to be millennials, which... I think it's going to happen. Like, we're going to unplug a bit, but I think maybe Gen Alpha will hardcore unplug by the time they're like in college. They're going to reject their childhoods or whatever, where they were so dependent on certain things. I mean, I don't know a lot of Gen Alpha people, but that's just like my little impression is they are dealing with what we're dealing with, but they're younger. So it's like even more immersive, and they maybe don't know how it's affecting them they don't necessarily have context for that yet. And then when they do get that context, they're gonna I can imagine there being a whole market of the tiny houses like finally really taking off. Like I know people talk about tiny houses a bit, but like the whole tiny house paradigm might totally formalize to become not just like a cool like offshoot of living in your own place, but like become maybe mainstream. Just like, this is what people do. No, you don't buy a house. You get a tiny house.
Or you make it.
We're going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And they might get really involved in their hands and learn a lot of trades. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure every generation is full of resilient people who end up, pushing against whatever's holding them back in incredible ways. And I was thinking about like how crazy it would be to be a boomer, because the technological shifts, the differences between being a child and being around now are just so incredibly dramatic and faster and faster and faster throughout your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The Vietnam War, growing up during a draft, that's crazy. Seeing so much of the Cold War unfold, and then like having kids during 9/11, parenting during 9/11. I know growing up during 9/11 was hard, but like being the parents, and then the social media age, watching your kids and being confused, then joining in and being corrupted, and then realizing you're being corrupted and seeing elections happen, and just like, man, the boomers have been through shit. And the
Yeah.
millennials, we know, most of the people who listen to this probably are millennials and Gen Z, and we know what we've gone through. So
Gen X.
Gen X people, like, that's maybe the generation I know the least about, because I wasn't raised by them, so I didn't live with them. I know millennials because I'm me. I know Gen Z because we're not that different. And I've got lots of Gen Z friends, I guess, or more than. I don't know any Gen Alpha kids well at all.
I don't know where the
I'm not sure
cutoff
either, but I
is.
imagine
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I imagine you're like getting close to them being the ones at New Urban Arts.
maybe
but-
the youngest of them.
I'm not really worried about us having a hard time communicating with any of the generations going forward. I feel like part of the way things are with the internet and stuff is that we're just kind of more attuned to the memes and the culture are more homogenized even. I don't know. But
Sure.
I guess my point though in general, what I'm saying right now is there could be a lot of like these things we're worrying about, like our attention and things. There could be a lot of large social change leading to general appreciation of long form content again, like long media and slow media.
Yeah.
I think it's already happening.
And a lot more like in-person hangs and third spaces that are people that are part of people's lives for for decades, you know.
Yeah.
Like there used to be so many clubs, you know. You just see like all these old buildings all around America that are like the Elks Club, or the Elks Lodge, you know, there's so many of them. But yeah, there's all these like remnants of them, and they still exist, and people still go to them, but it's like definitely not the heyday anymore. And I'm not alone in my feeling of like, it just would be so nice to be like part of something else on top of the music scene that I know about in the city that I'm in. You know?
That's why the Freemasons are still around and will never probably ever be gone, because it's just like a club for like, you know, people who identify as men, probably mostly cis men, but whatever. It's just a club for them to hang out and just like support each other.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is a weird habit to get so specific all the time about like who I'm talking about gender. Like it doesn't matter who, like that it was men. I don't know why I felt like I had to say this is a club for men, the Masons. But I guess it's just because if you look at Freemasons from the outside, it might seem like some culty kind of crazy thing, but it's just like, you know, it's like dads and dudes trying to like hang out and have a time.
Sure. Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't know what happens in there.
I just
they
have
might be
at least,
sacrificing whoever.
I have two Freemason two. Actually, they're both my friends.
Yeah.
Two Freemason friends who
Freemason friends.
it seems to really benefit them in a good. And they're like not like, you know, one of them is the most leftist person I know, actually, and the other one is like more centrist kind of. But still, yeah, they like it.
That makes sense. But I think we'll have a resurgence of maybe something that doesn't look exactly like that, but of more in-person appreciation, social gathering.
I think at least as an option.
Yeah. Totally.
Maybe not a total cultural shift or something, but like.
Yeah. It's probably going to be it's probably going to be something similar to how like we have no real way of like connecting to or understanding like I guess I don't know if this is true, but I have very little insight into the life of a like 9 to 5 Wall Street broker. And the idea of one is very abstract. And maybe or people who play Call of Duty all the time. You know, like really serious, you know, there's just these pockets of humans where I never interact with one, and I don't know what moves them and like what their musical choices are and like what movies they like. I mean, it's easier with movies, but I don't know what they're reading. And there'll probably be like that where there's like a big, because there's a lot of those people. So there'll be there's a lot of people in finance, and there's a lot of people playing Call of Duty. There's a lot of people writing fan fiction for games I've never heard of. And there'll probably be like, there's a pocket of people that could be very large that is just so disconnected from online media, like almost like to the extent of like Amish people in Belize.
Oh.
Like there's Amish people in Belize. That's like as far as I can get from, you know, if you go to Belize, you're not gonna like see them. They're you know what I mean? They're still Amish, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's like very far away in a whole different country and a whole community that's way like more lo-fi. So yeah, it just seems like we have to become them, but we won't ever run into them if we don't be them.
Yeah.
It'll be like a real far away feeling of like, oh, there's people who don't use phones. Like one of our friends, flip phone only.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It seems very romantic. A flip phone only.
It's tricky though.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be so much
that.
more like proactive about meeting people.
Right.
Yeah.
God, sometimes I talk and it makes me so bored what I'm saying.
Well, okay, let's also talk about other types of media that we've been thinking about.
I actually have
that
a
can be
question for you too about that.
Okay.
Do you think that there's more and more pockets like that right now, as opposed to in the past where there was more like a general counterculture, subculture thing happening? Because I feel like youth doesn't really have the big movements like we used to have them, I guess. Like there's no the goths. There's no...
Oh, the goths are back.
But are they?
Yeah.
Jessica's got a good insight into this.
I've been seeing goths. Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think that something like this, that's like a movement against technology or away from technology, will become stronger as technology gets better at taking our like attention and like feeding us confusing information. I think there will be like some really there already are such serious consequences, but I think it will become more, and might be a good time to get an Encyclopedia Britannica collection to just gain some hard copies of important information. But
we got a shitload of those at my parents' house.
Sick. Okay. But yeah, I think that it's something that we'll see over like the next 20 years growing, rather than like an instant shift and people are like all flip phones and like there used to be more, I think, more trends like I feel like emo stuff is back also, but also like in a new form. And yeah,
right. I do see that, but it feels more like they're taking little bits and pieces, and it's more like a fashion accessory, and not so much
personality,
a whole personality and lifestyle attached to it. You know?
Yeah, I think maybe because of where social media is, how it's super ingrained in our lives, maybe we are just like a little bit more homogenized,
or maybe we change that sort of stuff more quickly.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
It's like changing your profile picture, but for real life.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Jessica might go through a big physical change.
I might change the color of my hair drastically, and I'm excited about it.
What color?
And we are going to have a beautiful experience seeing her new hair.
I made it sound so weird. A big physical change.
You're going through huge physical changes.
Yeah.
What color
Yeah.
will you go for? Or is
Do
that
you
a
wanna
secret?
guess?
Maybe
Pink.
you can guess. Pink would be good. She's not gonna say. You guys say it. Will you nod if he gets it? Okay. Oh, it's
Blonde.
getting warmer. Blonde.
White.
White is
Uh,
cool though for a hair color.
I agree.
No.
Was it?
Are there more colors?
Well, you said green. You said gun. You said mouth and tongue.
And so
You said ochre and okra and clam.
Poker and
orange.
You said the dice white and dice black.
you got it.
Orange.
Orange.
Oh,
but
dang.
it's like
Yeah.
this kind of orange.
Yeah. It'll
The
be
kind
like
of yellowish.
bright orange. Yeah.
Bright. So that way there will be
pumpkin
nice
orange.
contrast between her head and the background.
Mm-hmm,
That's why we're doing it.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get mine to be, because hers is gonna be orange. I'm gonna be light blue, and that way we'll
should
be
do
like
the opposite, yeah.
underwater. Yeah, we'll be the.
will be really good complementary colors.
We'll go out
No,
on the
I think
town
you
and
should.
everyone will be like, "Is that Ben Levin?"
You should go for chroma green or something, and then you can, put stuff on there visually.
Oh,
in your
chroma
videos.
key.
That's so
Ooh, that's a good reason to
funny.
not do blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll get it keyed out or something.
Yeah, to not get keyed out. Cool. Wow, I'm just finding out about this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not.
Just kidding.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of an expensive procedure, so we're saving.
Yeah. It's expensive.
But it's cool because Jessica can express herself in new ways.
Yeah. And I feel like I feel weird talking about this aspect of it, but like I'll like go somewhere I've never gone before
Mhm.
and people will be like, "You come here all the time, right?" And I'll be like, "Nope." And I think I just like give a like friendly vibe and have just like a generic girl experience for people, or people my whole life have been like, "You look exactly like this person."
Pam
and they
from
show
The
me,
Office.
Then they show me a picture and I'm like, "No."
You get Pam from The Office?
I used to a lot.
Back
yeah.
when The Office was more Pammy.
Yeah.
Now it's just, you don't even watch it.
I don't even watch it. But I feel like especially being around Ben all the time, who's like such a distinctive looking person, and people can just go, "That's Ben Levin."
I look like Hitler's worst nightmare. I'm a happy,
Exactly.
healthy Jew. Go on.
I feel like this might help my generic people don't think about me as an individual problem. And being more distinctive looking is very exciting to me. So
That's cool.
I'm going to try it out.
That's just real.
Hell yeah.
That's just how she feels, folks. That's just
Yeah.
how she feels. Don't hold her against it.
I like that.
I feel like the desire to stand out visually is something that it is like the kind of thing that like you want up until a certain amount of fame, and then it starts to be maybe a pain. But for this moment in time, when we're trying to become more ingrained in the local arts scene here and have more of a social life, it is good if people recognize you and are like, "Oh yeah, you're not just girl number 523, you're girl number 23."
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
It's a cool idea.
Cool.
I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm curious how it'll be.
Yeah.
Hugo,
me
you
too.
know, you would, with that shirt too, especially, you would look super cool with white hair.
I agree with this.
I thought
Yeah.
of getting white hair once, and then I was like, nah, maybe not.
When you were streaming more, or like first streaming, is it a Twitch thing? Because I
No,
noticed that
no.
trend.
Like, I don't know,
Oh.
10 years ago or something.
Amazing.
Oh, dang.
Well, you do you, my man. But if I had
agree
your
with
hair,
that.
I think I'd think about it. I feel like my hair is too easy to turn into clown hair. I'm always
You
concerned
should
about looking
not.
like
Yeah,
clown
you should
hair.
not go for orange or something.
Right. Ronald McDonald? No.
Yeah. But also
What if you get
something-
earrings, Ben? You could do that.
Yeah, that would be, I think, look pretty good on me. I'm just scared of the holes, and I don't want the clips.
Yeah.
I think about a necklace sometimes, but then I also am also thinking about, like, I don't want to look like part of the aristocracy. And there is so have you seen the show based on League of Legends, Arcane?
I've not seen it.
Did you
no.
watch that?
No.
So Brandon Sanderson, who's the author whose books I've been reading, and no, it's not a guilty pleasure. I'm just going to say I've been reading the books.
Yay.
And I read 3 books, and I like him. He's interesting to me because he is very different from me, and I can tell we have very similar values. So he's like a devout Mormon author who writes books a lot and seems actually fairly knowledgeable about music, but like is deeply entrenched in the fantasy genre, fantasy world, and it's just
Right.
like such a different part of the world of arts. But like I really relate to his work ethic and his ambition, and like I really admire his characters, how I'll just say the protagonist of the book I read, it reminds me of my dog. Like this it's a girl named Vin, and she reminds me of my dog's like fears and life and like habits and as religious as he is, he writes a damn good atheist. Like I really admire that about him, like that he'll write these really empathetic characters that don't align with his beliefs. Anyway,
Okay.
he was so anyway, what am I talking about? So why did I start talking about him? I read the books.
You're talking about the show?
Yeah, so he said, thanks. Arcane was like a 10 out of 10 for him. He's not
Oh,
always giving
interesting.
out 10 out of 10s. And he
Yeah.
was like, that show is amazing. It's a masterpiece.
Mm.
And so it's short.
Wait,
short.
but
So actually,
it's a show based around the game League of Legends?
yeah, believe it or not, it's actually good. Like
Because there's
So
like no
it's
story to League of Legends, is there?
yeah, so they created so I think that's a good thing. Like if you're going to adapt a video game, like they had no limitations. Riot paid for this thing, not Netflix. So Riot just brought it to Netflix and was like, you can release it, but you can't change it. And
Yeah.
they made a compelling piece of art. So I was watching it, and guess what? The bad guy, one of the bad guys in this show reminds me of Hineni too. But why am I talking about this though? What were we talking about before I started talking
Hair?
about this? Hair
And earrings?
and earrings. Oh yeah, and the aristocracy. Okay.
Yes.
So
Necklace.
in this show, it's one of how there's like a million shows about the people who live in the up here, and then the people who live in the slums down below. We got Metropolis, we got Final Fantasy VII, we got like even sort of Harry Potter kind of is actually that, and all the good guys are bad guys in a way because they have this birthright to be in the magical place while all the Muggles have to live in squalor on Earth. But anyway, that's less of a good example. I just resent Harry Potter themes sometimes. Whatever. I'm stupid to talk about it. Let's go. But they show it, and it's like you can see it in our world all the time that this class divide is so intense, and you see it everywhere, every city, every place. At least in the U.S., you can just see it everywhere, and And the thing is that we're always making shows like this where the good guys, the heroes, are from the slums and they're trying to rise up.
Yeah.
And yet, in real life, this same dichotomy exists, and we pretend, as Jessica says, and I agree, that these people don't even exist. And you look at the tent cities, and you're just like, ah! And you know, which is, I think, a reasonable reaction because it is very sad and terrifying what happens there. But we're just like, ah! And then, oh, right. And like everybody, and there is such a distinct, different reality between. We talk about billionaires and how they're living up in whatever. Everyone who's just
we
like
talk about them being saviors potentially.
That's true, yeah. But we also talk about them being like evil. The ones who are living up in the clouds while we all like are melting down on Earth with the hot sun or whatever. But the thing is, sure. Yes, you know, true. There's a huge divide there, but the divide just between, you know, us and the unhoused people is so big, and it's not just because of the difference in how we live. It's social. Like, we don't hang out. There's not really spaces for the most part, except this one thing we did where we make an opera with people, and like it's a cool thing in Providence, but I've never seen very many spaces where you're working in a collaborative way, social way. It's either you're volunteering to give them support because your like life is fine, so you have time to be there, or you're just like, they're like an abstraction in the distance. So like the only way to get to know them is by saving them or whatever, you know, like by helping them. But like, what about just seeing them as people and interacting and playing a game of Magic the Gathering or something, which is, you know, that's something that could be done.
It's also just, I think when, you know, it's like the hierarchy of needs. When you don't have your basics covered of food, shelter, water, you don't have room for like life's more fun and pleasant things, you know?
Right.
I'm not going to pretend to have some kind of wisdom here about it, but I am very much paying attention to right now the difference in how we dress and how we look, and like how I'll just be walking down the street with the bubble tea and this coat, you know, thrift store or whatever coat, like, and I'm just like in a whole different reality than the person I just walked by, you know. And it's just and so sometimes I think if I wear like a cool necklace or whatever, you know, anytime I do anything stylish, I'm sort of like leaning further into the role of this separation, and like self-expression isn't a bad thing, and like style is cool, it's art, and like, but I also feel that if you have the time and the space and the laundry machine and like the ability to keep your clothes clean and take care of them, like, you know, that
I completely disagree. I think there's like jewelry is just another form of art, and I feel like not doing something because some people will might think you're more well off or something, like it feels like cutting off an avenue of expression before you've even explored it. And I see where you're coming from, but I feel like you can't, like, I don't like to live my life in a way that cuts off possibilities of expression as much as possible, because we're changing, like, and like, I think that I would really like to know what kind of necklace you would want to pick out. Like, I would really like to know what you're drawn to, and like, express like more, you know, like more aesthetic flow in the way you dress, and like put your creativity in a new place. I think that's really exciting.
Well, and I hear that as like, also it doesn't do anyone any good if you like cut off your expression. Like
Yeah.
like nobody benefits from me being like, oh, but unhoused individuals often don't wear a necklace, so it's not like they're like, hell yeah, thanks, rich kid, kid who just plays on his keyboards all day, thanks for not wearing a necklace. That you really got my back today. I really feel like policy is improving now, and the
doing
homeless are
anything.
given their fair shot. Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. It affects how you see yourself.
Yeah.
And so if I look at myself and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, this guy looks like the kinds of guys that would be mean to me back in the day, or this person looks like somebody who would, have different values than I have. That matters to me.
Yeah. I see that. I also think that I don't see you wearing jewelry that represents those things. I see you maybe more leaning into something that feels a little bit more magical. That is not a stereotypical, like, this is the necklace that goes with everything. But
I was thinking of a gun that's a cross, and on top of it is two titties, but then coming out of the gun, it's like blood,
Yeah.
and then hair,
Cool.
and it's like really like, babe,
Yeah.
it's my pubes, babe. But what if okay,
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be a wild choice.
yeah, you know what I think would be
it's
cool is a
interesting what
ring
you both
pop.
are saying though, because like there's this sense of individuality through expression and all that, but at the same time, it's I think it's true what Ben is saying. It's reaffirming the background where you come from, because obviously your individuality isn't isolated from your background. So it's like an unavoidable combination of both, really.
I feel like an interesting thing to do with clothes and fashion and accessories is to explore things that don't necessarily feel like you, just to be like, what does this feel like? And sometimes you can kind of envision a new you, and maybe it's like this combination of things that you never would have thought like really works, or you just you've always been avoiding because you're like, no, and then you actually try it and you're like, hold on a second, actually this is pretty cool. I think that can be a really powerful experience.
Sometimes I get like a
I can
little bit
imagine that.
self-conscious when people see this, right? Because this is a super expensive thing, but it has led to a lot of like self-expression.
Definitely.
So when people see this thing, and for all those listening on iTunes where we don't currently exist, I'm holding up an OP1. These things, I think they cost like $2,000 now. I didn't get it for that much, but I still got it for like $1,000.
They've
And
increased
like,
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
as I know.
hold one of these in your hand and show it on the stream, people want it more. It's one of those things that looks desirable. It looks like the
It
ultimate
looks
music
very
thing.
fun.
It is so very fun too, but
Yeah.
the thing is, like, whatever you get, whatever you do, it all becomes normal eventually, and your life goes back to normal. But the question is, does it really? Have you written music with it? Does it change your expression? And the thing
Right.
is, we can write music with whatever we got.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no one benefits from me like showing it off, because then they end up wanting one, and then no one benefits from me hiding it necessarily either. It's like this weird pull with that. That's like the luxury item. What would you say in this,
Okay, but
in our
there's-
lives?
There's still
That's
a
like
difference
the-
between wearing a necklace and,
An OP1. Wearing an OP1.
wearing an
around my
OP1.
neck.
Or like, a big brand
That's
name
funny thought.
or something,
That's
You're
a very
not
funny Yeah.
at some point you're not wearing a shirt because you like it. You're wearing the shirt because it has Nike on it.
Or it says alcohol on it. And
Yeah.
I like drinking.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would say as someone who, this isn't my OP1, but Ben, will let
Well,
me
it's
borrow
our
it.
OP1.
Yeah, Ben, I borrowed it many times and used it on things. I feel like I've had just as much fun with it as the app Flip on my iPad. I would say they are about equal, and
Yeah.
Flip is like $10 once. and it's just like, yes, the iPad is expensive, but
Yeah.
you can also do it on your phone. And it's just like, I think both have led to maybe equal amounts of new creative output, expression. And
Yeah.
but it is this physical thing with a little speaker with really cool cow effects does like tingle a certain part of my need to buy fancy thing that the app Flip doesn't.
As
Tangle.
Justice Cow, you gotta have the cow effects. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it was made for you,
Whoa.
essentially.
Yeah.
That's a good
That
transition
was
sound.
nice.
Shall we speed run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show and tell.
10 chocolate chips every day.
I finished Silent Hill 2, and the series is going to be uploaded soon on my second YouTube channel.
Hug cutie.
Woohoo!
How cutie, yes.
I've been playing shows. I got 2 shows coming up probably after this comes out, but and in Rhode Island and Massachusetts only. But I'll be playing in Providence at the Lost Bag on November 15th. I'll be playing at Myrtle November 16th afternoon show, and I'll be playing in Medford, Massachusetts at Deep Cuts on November 30th. Thanksgiving
Hell yeah.
weekend. And I'm still working on a Sufjan video. And someday I won't say that anymore.
That's going to be a good episode, though.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Hell
It's
yeah.
true.
Thank you all for watching. Good night.
Cause we won't